Hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, or should I rather say Pregaming with What Chaos, live here down from Gret to Bar Yeg. Ty, I'm going to use three varies here because we've got very, very, very special guests. We do actually have three of them, only two on screen. But the What Chaos boys are down here joining us in Edmonton. DJ Bean, Pete Blackburn, and producer Sean DePaz over there. We don't forget about producers.
Can I start why Sean should be on the postgame show?
I would love to have Sean on the postgame show.
Sean, you should have 8 beers and come on the postgame show.
Yes. I don't know if you want that, Sean. Sean has opinions.
Yeah, right.
But it's going to be an awesome time. We're down here at Gret Bar Yeg for the very hyped up What Chaos meet and greet event as the Oilers take on the Seattle Kraken boys. We're on the screens down here at Gret Bar Yeg. We're on the audio here. And we are going to be taking over this entire building. Let's have a night tonight. I did ask Pete earlier today, are we getting after it tonight? What was your response?
I believe it was yes.
I believe it was yes. I asked Tyler the same question the other day, and he also said yes. But welcome to Pregaming, presented by Sherwood Ford the Giant, and is a presentation of Bet365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today because they are the best. Gentlemen, we're happy to have you down here. Now, for you, it's your first time ever in Edmonton, first time at Greta. DJ, you have been in this building before in the flesh for the NHL playoffs last year. It's going to be a little bit of a different vibe here. It was absolutely electric for that one. I kind of expect some of the same vibes, but DJ, you're back in the flesh, back in the building. Vibe report so far, what do you think?
Vibe report, great. Everyone we've spoken to has been amazing. I'm seeing a Jeff Skinner Oilers jersey. We've been dying to get our hands on one, seeing so many cool people. And yeah, I've been here a few times, and it's either been a really fun night or it has been after Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final when people are all going to die of having too much fun. It was the absolute greatest, so let's top it.
I treated that game, and I called it my Super Bowl, because if we could just win one game in the Stanley Cup Finals, I was going to give it my everything. I believe that was a weekend game as well.
Yes, I think it was. And that was the weirdest thing, because that was a game where they were down 3-1, and as soon as they won that game, everybody was like, damn, so the Oilers are probably going to win the Cup now. Never seen a series swing like that.
This is making me very sad.
Yeah,
why? What happened?
Let's get into it a little bit more. It's actually only the second time in Stanley Cup Finals history that a series has ended in a tie, 3-3.
Yes.
The first one obviously being 06.
Yes.
Which coincidentally the Oilers were involved.
They do have bad luck with that.
Yeah.
At least they don't lose, though.
Oh, thank goodness. Imagine the city after a loss.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Vancouver.
Nope.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was sad here after Game 7, I will tell you that. But you're right. I don't want to get negative. I don't want to talk about any of that. But let's get caught up into the chat. Austin, first comment of the day. He is in every single show. The first guy in every single day. Let's fire up the fucking band, Bordzy, my ON fam. You know what we got to do? Get the likes in. Chris Knobloch himself is now in the chat.
Wow.
He says, I will not stand for the constant Jay Skinner glazing. Parentheses. Third line again, by the way. Kiana's in. Let's get that big orange dub for the What Chaos boys. You do have a lot of Edmonton fans. I feel like the Oilers Nation Everyday chat and the What Chaos chat share a lot of the same demographic here from Edmonton for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's because Pete wanted to do a show that was about how hockey is ridiculous and all the way. And we started a month into last season. So we were like, all right, so an example of what we'll talk about on this show is like, what's going on with the Oilers right now? We'll talk about like that, but for other teams. Then the Oilers had the season they had last year. So every example of hockey being an absurd sport last year was the Edmonton Oilers. And they were like, so it's an Oilers podcast, kind of.
Kind of. But I mean, it felt fitting, too, because the reason the show started was because me and DJ got together to watch the Battle of Alberta. What was it? The crazy one? When it went 5 games.
Yeah.
The longest 5-game series of all time.
2021?
Yeah, whatever year that was.
Last year.
We watched every game of that series together. We were like, this is the most ridiculous series of all time. I called it the Cocaine Circus. Bob Stauffer always brings that up every single time I talk to him. And the show was born out of watching that series together. We were just like, why don't we just finally do a hockey podcast? And that's what Chaos was born out of.
So we all know DJ Bean as the #1 oil man of What Chaos. Obviously, you came down here last year for the NHL playoffs, but the other boys didn't get to come down. So we know your history with the Edmonton Oilers. Pete, are we getting you to become an oil man at any point here?
I mean, I'm a puck appreciator. I appreciate
Aficionado.
fun teams to watch. I appreciate fun players to watch, and the Oilers check both of those boxes, obviously. So I'm not hitching my wagon to the team itself. I'm hitching my wagon to the entertainment value that the Oilers bring night in, night out.
The Edmonton Oilers are, without a doubt, the best TV show that's on television
100%.
night in, night out. You get roughly 3 episodes a week, sometimes 4 as well. Big Brother ain't got nothing on that. But
Straight
boys,
up.
speaking of exciting, we're down here at Greta. They just did $100,000 worth of renovations to this bar. They knocked out an entire back wall back there, brought in all kinds of new games. Tyler, we're big fans of the football game.
Just set
know-
the high score back there, by the way.
Yeah.
Arms a little tight, like right in here, but other than that, it was a decent performance.
See, you guys, you're new here, but it kind of pains me to admit what I'm about to admit. Tyler is so good at the football game, and you challenged him earlier to pop a shot.
Yeah.
I regret to inform you. Tyler has these long bird-like arms
I don't
that
care.
he's just able to dunk
care.
the ball into the basketball left, right, and center.
Pete's got Will Campbell arms.
I do not care because I famously do not have long pterodactyl-like arms or whatever
Could
they
not
are.
be a left tackle.
I
folks.
know what works when it comes to pop a shot. It does not matter the body type.
I can't wait to do this later.
Yeah, it's
Same.
an awesome one. There's also a
Same.
beer pong game back there that they just got as well. So you can play with cups and the bottom starts to fall out. We're going to compete in that. But skee ball, pop a shot, Mario Kart, whatever you see here, what's your go-to arcade game?
I mean, does pop a shot count?
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, so that's absolutely my bread and butter.
Chain. I need the chain mesh, though. I need the chain mesh.
Yeah, it's got to make the noise.
It's got to make the sound.
Someone in here, Calvin Pickard, actually said, "What did the boys think of the Donaire?" I want to get that out.
Honestly, it was you guys hyped it up so much.
Yeah.
Like we had Zoom meetings to talk about the planning of this trip, and basically all of it was spent on how good Donaires were and that we were going to eat them. They kind of lived up to the hype, but in the most like unspectacular, like it's not a spectacular item, but it was unbelievably good.
Yeah, really good at 2-3 o'clock in the morning as well. I've found.
I mean,
Yeah.
that has to be the best if you're inebriated because it's just
Yeah.
delicious salty meat and like nothing that's gonna make you feel horrible immediately. Checks boxes.
There's vegetables. There's onions.
Yeah,
in there.
right.
That's healthy.
I did want to take a nap immediately after
Oh.
eating it.
Oh yeah, you'll feel heavy.
Yeah.
Donaires or green onion cakes? If you could bring one back to Boston with you, which one are you bringing back?
So like green onion cakes are very similar to scallion pancakes. I would say they're
Okay.
a better version of scallion pancakes,
But there, you have an
but
equivalent.
you have a comparable there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll take the Donaires back.
Yeah, I think I'm probably also bringing the Donaires back, and I know that I could probably just become a big Euro guy, but I think that those green onion, those green onions were.
Dude, and the
Green
sauce that
cakes.
comes with it. Is,
So
that's
that
the
would
thing.
be my only
Yeah, I
pushback
feel
against the green onion cake is that like it is carried pretty hard by the sauce, like that sweet and sour sauce or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The Donaire was just really good as is.
And famously, I'm finicky with sauces. I like the sauce.
White sauces.
Yes.
White sauce.
Yeah, I have a weird relationship with white sauces. And get your heads out of the gutter.
Not
this
an
was
ally.
one that was good. Hockey is for everyone.
You guys are going to be here. What day do you fly back? I did get a comment here earlier in the chat. It's from our boy Mainlander Tim, who made a good point. I made a lot earlier. It is random musics. Why aren't the What Chaos boys jumping on a plane Sunday morning and joining us in Vegas? Do you guys head back on Sunday?
We head back.
Don't
on
like to
Sun-
share flight logistics just in case people don't like us. But we are not joining you guys in Vegas. I do regret that.
We have plans, and we do not like to tip our hand with interviews before we do them. But we are planning on doing something with a white whale of the podcast, and that will be taking place on Sunday. So we will be absolutely here in Edmonton, making sure we get done what we think we're going to get done.
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to get done, and I'm very excited for that one myself.
We've had Gene, we've had Bob, we've had Jack. It could leave Louis.
You
as
haven't
the-
had Ty Emberson.
Have not had Ty Emberson. I'm a big Emberson guy. We haven't had Louis, and I've wanted to have Louis, but
Louis will do it 100%.
Louis. I mean, and Louis. We know Jake,
Yeah.
so it's not Louis.
You've
It's a
also
white
had
whale to
Tyler
show,
and
though.
Liam on the show, correct, right?
Absolutely.
I was
Yes.
on the
All I'll say is that-
24-hour deadline.
Yes. Yeah. Liam came on the 24-hour
That's
show.
true. There was a bit of a scare based off the Oilers' last game on what we're doing on
Yes,
Sunday.
because if that
Oh.
white whale is sunk, then I'll be pissed.
Then we're not.
Not at the whale,
Yeah, right.
but at
That's just a little clue.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, you couldn't have really. I mean, I love that you're in Edmonton. The city's always awesome. We're going to have a great night tonight, but you boys really couldn't have picked a worse time to decide to come out here. Is A, Connor McDavid out of the lineup, Leon Draisaitl out of the lineup.
For now.
And if you
Yeah.
look outside that
Your
window
opinion.
right now, the snow that is coming down all day long. I saw you guys bright and early, 8 a.m. getting out of your Uber this morning. I felt bad watching you guys come out and saying that you had to come join us for this time. But overall experience of Edmonton so far in the winter. You're both.
I don't
From
care about the
Boston, so you don't
snow.
care.
Stop talking about the snow. Nobody cares.
We can do it. We're from Boston.
Yeah.
We can do it.
We get to leave. You guys don't. Like, the snow affects you way more than it affects us. I think snow's pretty. I like the idea that we're getting like the actual Edmonton winter experience, hockey season experience while being here in the spring. Like, this is nice for me.
You'll get the trek on Saturday from walking from Greta over to Rogers Place, trekking through the snow, line of people coming with you.
I
That
love
will
it.
be excellent. You know what also would be excellent on Saturday nights? Mod Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day, perfect for every day of the week. I think we're going to be crushing a couple of these bad boys. You can pick them up. 2 Edmonton locations in the area, 1 downtown, 1 in the Ritchie location, or just simply check liquorconnect.com to find out which local liquor stores are going to be carrying those bad boys. So obviously we all know no Connor, no Leon in this game tonight. You're still holding
Just
on
tonight.
hope for Saturday,
Yeah.
which I do love that. Always be optimistic.
A lot of people
I
have
think
this-
you're going to get Leon Saturday.
I think
That's
I
what
am
I
too.
think.
I think we are getting Leon Saturday. Morning skate. He doesn't get out there yesterday, and again, we were talking about it this morning. He watched that first period, and he saw those pucks not going in the net, and then he saw the second period because we all knew that Dallas was going to come back in the second period. He watched that, and he was like, Saturday, I am playing.
Are you going to be in the building for L50 and Leon 50 goals? Once again, he's at 49, 1 away. But we know we're going to be without those two, and we did know that Stuart Skinner was not going to start tonight's hockey game. We're going to get Calvin Pickard. But the story of the game last night, especially in the third period, was the injury to the Oilers netminder, Stu. Once again, say what you want about his play recently, but that was a tough blow for the Edmonton Oilers. We kind of touched on it on ONE today. Are we all in agreement that is not a dirty play for Mikko Rantanen?
Nah, fuck Mikko Rantanen.
I mean,
All right, we're not
I
on.
think you
It's not good
I think
behavior.
you can
He's a
have
bad
that.
guy.
I think you can have that take while still acknowledging that it probably wasn't a dirty play.
Yeah, it
like, you can say, fuck that guy, don't like that guy. It seems like that's becoming a more and more popular opinion this season. But I don't think that there was anything wrong.
I'm
done
just
there.
saying none of this would have happened if that mega deal at the deadline had been pulled off.
Well, I mean,
although maybe you would have done it sooner in practice. Yeah.
well, I mean, definitely wouldn't have happened if that trade didn't happen at the deadline because Logan Stankovic's legs are not long enough to be
Yes.
reaching Stu
Yes.
Skinner's head.
Fair.
And it's very fair, but we know we're not going to get Stu tonight. It's going to be Calvin Pickard. Concussions, always tough, always scary. You never really know what's going on. We once again still don't totally know what's going on with Stuart Skinner. Nobby did report he's not going to be flying to Seattle, I guess last night or early this morning. He's not going to be playing, but boys, we know the history of concussions, and we only got 11 games left to go here in the regular season. You're Oil men. You're very aware that goaltending has been quite the hot button topic this season for the Edmonton Oilers. I feel like we've gone through this dance of, okay, Calvin Pickard's the 1A, and then he has a shit game, and then it's okay, we're back to Stuart Skinner 1A. He has a bad game. Okay, we're back to Calvin Pickard. But if Stuart Skinner is going to be out for, who knows, a considerable stretch here as we come down through crunch time, Calvin Pickard, I personally am more than comfortable with him taking this stretch run and getting Stuart Skinner to be healthy. Calvin Pickard, 17-7-1 on the season. Might not have the most eye-popping numbers you've ever seen, but in my opinion, especially when a backup goaltender, the only number that matters to me is that first one in the win category. I'm curious. I want to start with Liam. Where's your confidence level in Calvin Pickard if we had to play this one with Calvin Pickard, Saturday with Calvin Pickard, maybe even Vegas Calvin Pickard?
Incredibly low. He
Shit.
has played back-to-back games once this season and got absolutely smoked by the Anaheim Ducks. That is not something I would look forward to again, especially when you said that they play the Vegas Golden Knights in those three. But it's what they have to do, and go Pickard go.
But is home ice advantage really that important to you? Yes.
Yes,
You're getting a lot of
yes.
I
nodding.
think it's not the end of the world. I think the Oilers can win anywhere. But I mean, it would be ideal, to say the least.
I mean, you'd like if I gave you, the 100% healthy Oilers or home ice advantage, and you can only pick one, you pick the 100% healthy. Like, you're not rushing back Stuart Skinner or Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl because you're looking in the rearview mirror, being like, oh fuck, the Kings are still ahead of us. Whatever. Like, getting home ice would be great, and there's absolutely something to play for down the stretch, but at the expense of not having Leon or Connor at 100%, at the expense of Stuart Skinner risking a brain injury, maybe I'm okay.
I'm good riding with picks. Confidence level?
I mean, the last time he was good 2 games in a row last year in the
That's true.
postseason.
That's all we
That
need.
one time.
Actually, a decent point.
I will say that, and granted, the 2 games in a row more recently has been bad, but I think that Pickard is just a lot better than I thought he was when he was the starting goaltender of the Colorado Avalanche. He's come a long way in my estimation. So if that version of him were what they were turning to, I'd be very scared, but he's playing on a better team, and he's just better than he was back then. So
The
he
team
used to
also
be a
loves him.
disaster. He's now, I would say,
He's
what's that?
The team also loves him.
Yes.
Like, they play really well in front of him.
he's a high floor, low ceiling goaltender. So
Agreed.
like
That's a perfect backup, in my opinion.
yeah, well, I mean, it is a perfect backup when your starting goaltender is a reliable
Yeah.
goaltender.
shit.
So that's the only reason. That was my big want for the Oilers at the trade deadline was like upgrade the goaltending position in some aspect, whether it was getting a higher ceiling backup or it was getting a better starter or whatever. But if the question is riding out the remainder of this season with Calvin Pickard, I think you're in fine shape. It's just a question of like, does it become looking to him for more than that? If you're looking to him for more than that, given the lowish ceiling, I would feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think you need extra run support if you're going to be going with Calvin Pickard here for a considerable stretch. Once again, knock on wood, we do hope that our boy Stuart Skinner's been okay. We also called up Olivier Rodrigue. I'm sure you guys don't know a whole heck of a lot about him. He
Last
will
album,
be the
Guts,
backup.
Very good.
I know something about him.
Give it to me, Liam.
His dad is the goalie coach of Bakersfield.
Yep.
So that's big.
He's a Nepo baby.
Yes.
Nepo baby. For a few years, if you look at his elite prospects, he was basically just bouncing from team to team, ECHL, AHL, COVID hit. He went to Austria, came back, was back and forth. And I read this article about him at the time where he was just not settled anywhere. And then besides this year, the last 2 years in Bakersfield, I think it's 2 years, right?
Yep.
Do you have it in front of you? His numbers have been really good. But this year, Bakersfield has been such a roller coaster with like players getting called up, injuries, also just not being that good, that his numbers are bad. But I do think he's a decent goalie. He was a second-round pick. Another thing I have, which is a fun fact about Calvin Pickard. Pretty sure this is correct. Last time I checked.
My favorite part of facts are just wondering whether they're correct.
Brett, maybe you can fact check this for me.
Yeah, get a
Power
But
of conversation.
Yeah,
Power of
I'm
conversation.
pretty sure that Calvin Pickard, since the year 2000, has the
Jesus
best,
Christ.
maybe it's the last 20 years, has the best save percentages of rookie goalie in the NHL, who has played 25 games or more. Pretty sure that's a fact.
And
Is he still a rookie?
No.
No.
But
Okay.
that stat will stand for a while. That will stand for a
and
while.
then he got the Colorado Avalanche, Cale Makar.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
decent point.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Maybe it was Chet.
Well, for being so like such a specific stat, how could you have not gotten that right?
Well, do you remember we looked the other day because we were talking about Dustin Wolf,
Yeah.
and I brought it up. I'm sure that's what it said.
Chat saying do your own research.
Yeah,
that is smart.
My
Believe what
political
you
leanings
want.
agree.
Yeah, that's why Pete is again against incandescent light bulbs.
Yes, right.
As for the game itself tonight, it's the Seattle Kraken and the Edmonton Oilers. They might not be without Connor and Leon, but they already did this less than a week ago, defeating the Kraken by a score of 5-4 last Saturday. The Edmonton Oilers there's really no other way to put it. They have owned the Seattle Kraken since they have entered the NHL. I believe they've won 10 out of 12 hockey games. They've won 9 consecutive in a row. And in the last 3 seasons, they are 10-1 in total. They just did it a couple days ago, and they did it with that depth scoring, other players needing to step up. That was the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I don't want to say coming out party, because he was already rolling before that.
Reestablishing party.
There it is. With
He's a 1C, damn it.
1, 2, 3 goals. The Edmonton Oilers' first hat trick of the entire season. But it wasn't even just him, right? It was finally getting to see an Adam Henrique power play goal, showing some of his offensive capabilities. You, of course, got to see Jeffrey Scotty Skinner score a goal in that one as well. The Oilers, they have just been running them. So in Seattle, I believe they are 6-1 in their last 7 games. Their first loss came in the first time they ever went to Seattle. Since then, they have owned this team. And get this, in the Climate Pledge Arena, the Oilers have outscored them by a score of 28-13. But once again, no Connor, no Leon. Just because they did it a couple days ago doesn't mean they can do it again. I would also say that game is a little too close for comfort.
Liam's fact was incorrect.
Yeah. But I was he's second.
Who's first?
Who's the party pooper? Who looked it up?
No. He's not tied. I got it here, Brad. Since the lockout, Tuukka Rask is the best rookie. He had 50 games as a starter, a .930 save percentage. Whoa. Calvin Pickard, 36 games, .927, 2.46 goals against.
I'm glad we got that
was
sorted.
pretty close.
Nice.
Calvin, it was pretty close to being right. I don't know about
Half
you. You just
point,
said it was
half
wrong.
point.
You didn't say how close it was to being
I
right.
love when Liam lies to me.
I guess that also kind of dispels their theory that Calvin Pickard's a better goaltender now than before, because those are pretty damn good numbers.
Yeah, well, I guess he's a better goaltender than I didn't. Now I'm gonna. No,
He was also on the Avalanche team that people said might be the worst ever.
so that's what I'm talking about. Like the team
Yeah.
that got them Kel
But
McCarr.
I don't know how he went from that to that. Best rookie goalie since Tuukka Rask to you're the worst goalie we've ever seen in this franchise history, and you're on the worst team ever.
I heard an interview with his agent the other day where his agent, because Pickard got picked in the expansion draft, and then they chose Malcolm Subban over him.
Wow.
And apparently going into things, like his agent had been contacted by the Golden Knights, being like, hey, we're going to take him. We believe in him as like a guy who can come in and compete for a starting job. And then like out of camp, he was on waivers and was like, that was like the downturn of his career.
That season, Vegas had like 6 goalies.
They did.
Oh,
That was the year.
play, yeah.
Dylan Ferguson came up from the Kamloops Blazers, played the game.
That is a fact that is correct.
That is a fun fact.
I don't like those ones as much.
I don't like the
Yeah.
correct ones.
Yeah.
Do your own research. But point being, I think the strategy tonight is going to be pretty simple, pretty similar to that game
Get
on
the ball
Saturday.
to Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the ball to Jeff. Get the ball to RNH. We've seen him playing a completely different role, as you just said. He is now a 1C. He's gone from all over the place, right? Like first line winger, third line defensive center, to second line, first line. Now he's running this team PK power play. Thoughts on the outlook in the game tonight? And the boys are going to be leaning on Jeff and Ryan.
I think it's hilarious that RNH has the only hat trick for the Oilers this year, where it's like Leon is the only player in the entire NHL who is just scoring at will the entire year. They also have like the best generational talent of this era, but it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the guy who has largely struggled for like most of this season, who is the one who gets the hat trick. That's unbelievable to me.
1 goal in his first 19 games this season. He now has 12 points in his last 5 games, which is just crazy.
Swiss Army knife. That's my Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
I love though that it's like it's not totally working at first line left wing, so you got to like kind of try to move him around and figure out where he fits. He was so close to where he fits. Just move him over one. First line center. The guy who's a struggling
They don't
first
have
line
one of
left
those.
wing. It's just that he should be the first line center instead. Problem solved.
I think we were talking about it on the way in from the airport. We were saying like these games are very important for the Oilers in just like their ability to give guys the ball who kind of need it and need a head of steam heading into the playoffs. Because like at the end of the day, if they're healthy, nobody is worrying about McDavid. Nobody's worrying about Leon. Nobody's worrying about like Hyman for the most part. It's the guys who haven't necessarily gelled or at least consistently or haven't gotten the ability to kind of spread their wings this season, like a Jeff, like an RNH. These games are very important for them.
I mean, yeah. So give me like an Arvidsson hat trick one of these games, like something like he's kind of the last one, unless I'm not thinking of anybody who hasn't really had their moment yet.
Yeah. I talked, speaking of Louis DeBrusque, we
Plus
had him.
15,000 for an Arvidsson hat trick.
Oh, geez, easy.
That's Canadian money, though.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
not real.
Monopoly money.
We had Louis DeBrusque on the Monday after the Kraken game, which I guess would have been this last Monday, and he said like going into the room, you could tell guys were like lighter. Like they were coming in being like, whoa, we're going to play like 18, 19 minutes tonight. They like really embraced the challenge of not having Connor and Leon in the lineup. And yeah, I do think there's a lot of guys, Henrique and Nuge, who are sitting there being like, it's almost like a chip on your shoulder. Like, yeah, you know, I'm going to prove that like I'm a good NHL player. I'm not just like a scrub who rides shotgun next to Connor and Leon. And I do think that's helped these last couple of games. They've had a little bit of personality in their game, which, as weird as this sounds, that was missing for like all of January and February.
That feeds a point that you were saying that you made today when we were on with you, which is that like a lot of these guys, Adam Henrique specifically, they're not playing down the lineup because they're down the lineup players. They're playing down the lineup because they're on the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're not going to be a top 6 center if Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are on the team. But if they're out and you have to be a top 6 center or play big minutes, like that's what Adam Henrique's career has been. That's what Jeff Skinner's career has been, playing those big minutes and being counted on to be a 30-goal guy, which we're not ruling out at this point, given the pace that he's on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for me, right, I want to get taken out of context. It's never a good thing to lose the 2 best players on planet Earth, but there is a little bit of glass half full in this situation because you see guys like Nuge, Rico, Jeff Skinner, and then I've kind of referred to them as the island of misfit toys. But Podkolzin, Nuge, and Victor Arvidsson, all 3 of them were struggling very much so in the new year, especially since the Four Nations break. Well, you throw all 3 of them together and they start to find some game there. I do think there's a realm too for guys like Pods and Arvy that there's pressure that comes with playing with 29. There's pressure that comes with playing with 97. You do tend to defer more, and rightfully so. You should be getting that puck over to 29. But I've seen it in Podkolzin recently where even he's driving pucks to the net. He's making plays himself. We saw him roof a wrister over, I believe it was the Utah Hockey Club, just ripping it in the dead slot. And I went, where the hell has that been all season long? I was not familiar with your game. Yeah, we got lineup news.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure you had it. Do you want to share it?
Okay, let's go now. Let me just quickly do my need-to-know information, courtesy of Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet, sweet Wilhauk name, made from 100% pure Alberta beef. We got to get you some jerky.
We do got to get you guys some Wilhauk, yeah.
Yes, I'm
It
a
is.
jerky head.
And this stuff is incredible. It's
So
the
good.
real Alberta beef.
Guy jerks it all the time.
Yes.
Get your jerky on is the tagline, but the why is very much so needed to be said in there. Need to know information, Brett. If you just want to throw it up the
Straight jorking
standings,
it.
heading into this one for the Edmonton Oilers. Do you have them for the Western Conference? There you see it. The Oil. They're in tough. Vegas Golden Knights 7 points up on the Oilers, each with 71 games played. The LA Kings 2 points up, even with a game in hand. Shot out of a cannon. Percent chance the Oilers get the 2 seed. Go.
2 seed.
In the Pacific.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying better than 50%.
Yeah.
I said today, just like tread water, win your 2 games, or even get split with them. I think that they are fine to catch the Kings.
I'll say it's 50-50. I think the Kings are a very inconsistent and streaky team this season. So, like, you could very much get like a real sputter to the end from LA. And, you know, if the Oilers get one of the two of the 2 back, they're going to be fine.
I'll revise that to not say split with them, but a regulation win and an overtime win. And you're fine there.
See, I need more of your optimism in my life because I hate to admit it. I'm starting to think the boys might be playing on the road. But the big question and the big news that just kind of came in here,
Not good.
we were wondering if we would ever see John Klingberg again from the Edmonton Oilers jersey.
no.
I hoped that we would not.
Don't
Brett,
piss me off.
if you have it here and you want to throw it up for us, Matthias Ekholm will not be playing tonight. It's a maintenance day, according to head coach Chris Knobloch. So Ty Emberson and John Klingberg will play as the Oilers, once again, need to know we're going to be going with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. Curious to see how they will align when they get out here for pregame warm-up. Tyler, I'm curious, your initial thoughts. We have not been the biggest fans of John Klingberg since he has signed with the Edmonton Oilers for $1.7 million. I may remind you, can he make it all work up to us in this one game tonight?
No, I just, my problem with him is that, like, with the addition of Wallman, he's largely like redundant. Like, you don't need another puck mover if you have Bouchard and Wallman playing on separate pairings, and, you know, Brett Kulak, not necessarily a puck mover, but a good puck transporter, you could call him. So I don't really see a place for John Klingberg. The fact they're going 11-7, it's probably going to be some sort of a split where, like, Emberson and Klingberg are splitting the O-zone, D-zone starts kind of thing. But No, Ekholm is the headline here.
Yeah.
Like, forget Klingberg being in. Ekholm being out that's what's significant.
Yeah, I mean, you don't give someone a game off for maintenance. Not at this point in the schedule. Not when the previous conversation we were having was getting points and jockeying for playoff position in the standings. So it's nice of them to say maintenance. He's either hurt or they sent him to his room for what he did yesterday. And neither of those two are great.
He was bad yesterday.
Yeah,
He had a bad game.
I won't say that, but he was bad. And
You won't say what.
I think he was probably the reason why the Oilers were down at least 2-0.
Yeah, couple of those goals.
Honestly 3. Like the fourth one, he broke his stick. Like, what are you gonna do? It's just coincidence.
Ottinger and him, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but like he was terrible in the game yesterday. And honestly, like you take the name away, and the performance should give you a healthy scratch. I don't think they're healthy scratching him. I do think he is still genuinely hurt, but it's not ideal.
Well, the fact that he was out for as long as he was, and now he's back, he plays a handful of games, and it's like
he wasn't practicing as well. He wasn't on the
I
ice
know.
in practice.
So like,
At the very least, he is managing something, and they feel comfortable maybe kind of explaining away last night with that. And it's one bad game, and it's Matthias Ekholm. We were at the team store today, and I was like, I want to buy this guy's jersey even after last night because I feel like I owe him because he's been so much better with this team than we thought. Like, he's been an absolute godsend for that team. So I don't want this to be the trash Matthias Ekholm hour, but something's up, and just maintenance is, I think, kind of putting lipstick on the pig.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit a little bit
Yeah,
with
a little
that
bit
one there, but never really enjoyed watching the Edmonton Oilers without Matthias Ekholm, and yes, it is the Seattle Kraken, but they still got some players. For the Kraken, they're 30, 36, and 6 on the season, 7th overall in that Pacific Division, 4-4-2 in their last 10 games. They have also come into this one on a 3-game losing streak. They were just on a 4-game Western road trip. The only team they beat on that trip, the first game against the Chicago Blackhawks, they whomped them by a score of 6-2. Then it was 4-0 shutout at the hands of the Minnesota Wild, 5-4 to these very Edmonton Oilers, and then a 4-3 overtime loss to the Calgary Flames. Kraken, they were sellers at the trade deadline. They're punting on the season. I think they're 17 points out of a playoff spot, which really makes me think that one year when they went on to the second round of the NHL playoffs, that is such an anomaly. That was such a fraudulent season.
I would agree with that.
We never discussed that, but that's like
pretty
all-time
much
fluke.
Yeah, yes. and they're one of those teams right now. There's not many in the league that I look at. They seem like a rudderless ship where it's like you don't know what their identity is. You don't know what their future is. You don't really like know what they are in the present. They're just kind of there. They just exist.
But that's why, as terrible as this sounds, because like I know like state of the franchise and all that, making the playoffs was good. State of trying to become a cup contender, that's the worst thing that could have happened to them because it convinced them now for 2 years that they're kind of close or that they could get back there. And it's like, no, you're so far away. The roster is so painfully average. And when I went to a Kraken game earlier this season, and I was sitting next to a guy who was like, oh, you're a Canadian buddy. He goes, so you're a Canadian, you must know hockey. He goes, what do we have to do to become like, because I told him I was surrounded, like, become like the Oilers. And I was like, well, you have to suck for a while. Yeah. I was like, you can't just be this team that's 5, 6, 7 points out of the playoffs. You need to be trash for hopefully not 10 years, but maybe 2 to 4 years and then get really lucky. Like the Kraken doing what they're doing, it's just so much harder to get that franchise-changing player when you're picking 9th.
Sir, if you want to be the Oilers, you're going to need Connor McDavid. You're going to need to be absolutely dog shit and get that first.
I remember Brian Burke was asked about that one time. I think it was when he was with the Leafs, but they were like, do you think that you maybe need to follow more of like the Pittsburgh model of how to build a team? And he was like, win a fake lottery to get the best player ever? Yeah. Do I need like that's what they did.
There is no Oilers blueprint. Yeah. Because you don't just follow a blueprint and get the 2 of the best players of a generation. If you're following that blueprint, you are going to fail.
I mean, and that's what the Bruins are doing right now. So
and even
look how that's going.
Yeah.
Ironically, the pick after Crosby was Bobby Ryan, where Brian Burke was.
There you go. So
might be why he's a little spicy about that outcome. Hey,
but hey, he got the Sedins. Wasn't he
he was in charge.
Yeah. So come on, Brian.
I'm gonna make them both.
Also, ironically, the Oilers did have 3 other first overall draft picks that aren't named Connor and Leon. That maybe didn't work out back then, but we made our way back. You talk
2 of them were good. So
yeah.
Suck it, haters.
You talk about the Kraken being painfully mid. I was going through like their player stats. Their leading scorer is Jared McCann with 49 points in 72 games. That's pretty tough. Jaden Schwartz, Eli Tolvanen each lead the team in goals with 21. They're the only players to crack the 20-goal mark this season for the Seattle Kraken. And then Liam also just wrote down Jordan, Leslie, Christopher Eberle, because I just wanted to say that again because I threw that in the game notes earlier today.
He was actually really good for them in that playoff run. Had a crazy injury this year. Didn't he cut his thigh or something like that?
He had something that kept him out for a bit, yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. There's something else I was going to add, but it's slipping my mind.
I mean, they tried to make a big splash over the summer with Chandler Stevenson and Brandon Montour. I like Montour. Neither one of those guys are really paying big dividends. And so if those contracts really, really stink, they're going to be in trouble for a little while.
Do you know, actually, this is what I was going to say. Earlier on, you guys may remember I said I hate Jason Robertson.
Yes.
I also kind of hate Ellie Tolvanen. Tolvanen?
Why?
Because remember, he got to Seattle on waivers.
Yeah.
And now every single time a half-decent player goes on waivers and someone's like, probably don't want to get that guy. He's not that good as well. Well, Ellie Tolvanen, you all said that about him. And
so you don't like the narrative he caused?
So it's nothing he did personally.
No, just him not being good enough on Nashville and then becoming that good player.
No, I mean
he was
Gus
pretty,
Forsling, right?
He was pretty widely regarded on Nashville. He just never panned out.
Yeah, but then to go on waivers, now it's just like everyone's good on waivers apparently.
Kasperi Kapanen.
Cheeks clapping.
Kasperi Cheeks Clappinen is the name.
We saw somebody at the team store today, and he recognized us from the show. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was wondering if you guys were going to be here. I was coming by to get a jersey. And we were like, what jersey are you getting? And he said he was getting Kasperi Kapanen because he has a beauties only rule where he only gets jerseys that, if not immediately, at some point will be so unbelievably random. But he tries to get them when they're currently on that team. And he identified Kasperi. Yeah,
calls them unicorns. Like I think 1 season, guys, is kind of what he was. Because we were saying you should get a Jake Wallman, and
and that's why he said
he's going to be here next year.
Oh, so if you guys remember, our guy Jay really wants a Trent Frederick jersey, right? And I had to remind him, because Frederick's going to wear number 21, that, Jay, you have a Klim Kostin jersey. You can just change the name bar on it. But
no, keep a Klim Kostin jersey.
Jay's like that as well.
Tell him why he can't do that, though.
Oh, because the Klim Kostin jersey will be an Adidas jersey.
It's going to have the bubbles on top and everything.
And Trent Frederick, if true puck knowers, will look at a jersey and say, what the hell is going on there? Trent Frederick never wore an Adidas Oilers jersey.
Decent point.
You guys don't have any unicorn jerseys?
Let me think. No, I have a James Andrews like Bruins.
You do, yeah. That's a
Brandon
unicorn.
Dubinski, Columbus Blue Jackets. Got the wrong.
He was
one
there.
Yeah, but he was there for more than 1 year.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever hear the story of the Oilers' end of season locker room sale and the jerseys they were selling?
No.
So the Oilers. This must be like a pretty standard practice, but when you're close to acquiring a guy or whatever, you get a jersey made up, I guess. So the Oilers at a year-end sale one time had a rack of game-used jerseys of random guys, and there was Carson Soucy and Mark Stahl.
And Justin Braun.
Oh, yeah, Justin Braun.
Wow.
Never played games as Oilers, and somehow they slipped through the cracks and made it to like the end-of-season locker room sale, a Justin Braun Oilers jersey.
If there was a store of like almost but never happened NHL jerseys, that would be the greatest store of my life.
The Mitch Marner Carolina Hurricanes jersey, although he's going to be a Carolina Hurricane in a few months anyway. But
I can see that.
damn.
Do you know actually has the best jersey collection? Stephen Ellis.
He's got like 80.
He'll have stuff like guy who played exhibition games.
He has
whoever it may be.
Andre DeVoe or some player like that who signed with the Leafs on a PTO, played in an exhibition game, got cut, and Ellis went to an auction and bought his jersey. So it's like this guy is never even listed as being a Leaf, but Ellis has his jersey. He's crazy.
PTO jersey is crazy.
Yeah.
PTO
Love
jersey
that.
goes hard.
That's a little nuts. Let's go now. My Sherwood Ford Giant storyline brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. Nation Valet service going on right now. It's quite simple, folks. You need some service done to your vehicle. You need an oil change. Well, sign up online at sherwoodford.ca, and they will come to your home. They'll come to your workplace. They'll grab your keys from you. They'll take your vehicle to the shop, do whatever services you need. They'll then drive that bad boy right back to you by the end of the workday. You won't even know that they took it. Sherwood Ford, the Giant for a reason, boys. You got a storyline or a key to victory for me? My storyline and victory, it's the same thing. It was what it was on Saturday. Nuge. That's all I said when they played in the last game. I'm needing Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to play a severe role. He's going to need to carry this team. He's my key to victory. Once again, we'll go through the lineup in just a second because Ty Emerson's playing with a different partner as well. But Liam, you got a key to victory or a storyline you're looking at? This game happened less than a week ago.
Yeah, it did happen not so long ago, and the Oilers won that game. I didn't watch. I was in Vegas.
It was good. They won.
They won.
Yeah.
Hat trick, I believe, from Nuge. First one this season. So that's good. Kind of crazy. He's the only one to get one. I would say my short forward key to victory. I'm trying to remember what I said earlier on.
I should have went to Liam last.
I'm going to say
You feel like an AI recap of our show so far.
I'm going to say figure it out.
Okay.
We've got a lot of shit going the wrong way for
Make
you
it work.
right now. You got to figure out a way to do it. They started to figure it out last night after literally guys were going down the tunnel injured one after another by the Seven Dwarves. It was crazy. And it was nuts. So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight because we literally have no players left. Troy Stetcher's taking line rushes as a forward, for Christ's sake.
That's normal.
Oh, no.
So, yeah,
That's fine.
that's big. So, yeah, figure it out.
Tyler?
Yeah, I'm gonna say avoid those kind of 10-bell mistakes. Like you go back and we watch the goals on ONE once again, but it's like bad pinch, bad goal against by Stu, and like every goal you could pinpoint like 3 things that went just horrendously wrong in order for that puck to end up in the back of the Oilers' net. Just cut that shit out. This is not the Dallas Stars. This is the Seattle Kraken. If you don't gift wrap them 2 to 4 goals, you're going to win this hockey game.
And that gift wrapping has been the Oilers' big issue post 4 Nations. That's why they've fallen apart. Key to victory storyline: no Ekholm, no Connor, no Leon, no Stu.
So
Don't count
mine
us out.
is, or the storyline is defense, and the key to victory, I guess, is Darnell Nurse be a number 1 defenseman. And I mean, he bounced back from, I want to say it was the Winnipeg game, wasn't his best game, and then he came back and was really good. I believe in the Seattle game, and with what they're missing right now, because with all due respect to Evan Bouchard, and I'd love for him to have a bounce back performance, but he had a bounce back performance at the end of the game last night, which is typically what he does. He has bounce back games in the same game as the reason why he needs to have a bounce back game. Darnell Nurse, I would say, carry the defense. Be the number 1 stud that you can be in a pinch, and I'd say that's my guy to watch other than Jeff Skinner scoring not once, but twice.
Yeah, I'm going to party and say I'm going to tail that. I think this is a Jeff Skinner game. It's a Jeff Skinner statement game, Jeff Skinner signature game. Like the Kraken are such losers to the point where I think that this could be a Jeff Skinner opportunity. They open the door for Jeff Skinner to really emerge. I'll say I'm not going to say a hat trick. I'll say 2 goals.
2 goals.
I'm
2 goals
looking
for
at it
Jeff
right
Skinner.
here, plus 1,400 for Jeffrey Scotty Skinner to score 2 goals.
I love it.
Easy.
All right, Bert, you got the lineup here that we just got announced late. Once again, Oilers' second half of a back-to-back. We're getting the lineup news as they hit the ice. So here, we got no sign of Ekholm. Troy Stetcher is taking rushes at forward with Kapanen at center and Maximum Jones on the left wing. Perry is up with Henrique and Hyman. But you look at those deep pairings, top pair. Darnell Nurse with Ty Emerson, Jake Woolman on the left side with Evan Bouchard, and Brett Kulak with John Klingberg, and then Troy Stetcher rotating in there as well. Thoughts on Ty Emerson? Liam hasn't played 4 games in a row here for the Edmonton Oilers, which has really been helping my tattoo bet, and this makes me nervous about my tattoo bet. He's going to have a lot of ice time tonight, but thoughts on not only being back in the lineup, but playing first pairing minutes?
Well, it feels like there's no other option, so that's not good.
I would have thought Bouchard could be an option.
But I think, so I can't see the screen. I'm looking right on that TV up there. I think Bouchard and Wallman should be a pairing permanent.
That's going to fucking rock.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's going to rock for somebody, I should say.
Might not be an Oiler.
Yes, I don't know.
Practically.
It's going to rock for somebody.
High event
Like,
pairing.
this is why Pete watches the Oilers.
Yeah.
That is a high event pairing.
I think Emberson is there because he's not as chaotic as Klingberg. Like if Klingberg Nurse pairing could lose you a game. Klingberg, Kulak, a bit more calmer. Same with
To be
Emerson.
fair, I think most pairings with Klingberg could lose you games.
Yeah,
but
I don't know
Kulak
how I
is
feel
so
about the
good.
11-7, honestly.
I just think Derek Graham was playing such few minutes. What is it?
I just think that means Nuge. I'm just going to see a lot of
Yeah.
Nuge.
So then the key of the game should be what Pete has been saying the last few days with the Oilers. Like, nobody else get hurt. Because if a forward goes down tonight, oh boy,
And we're
jeez
seeing Drake
Louise.
Caggiula back in business. Seth Griffith, anyone?
Oh, Seth Griffith. I know Seth Griffith.
Captain
Boston
of
Bruins,
Buffaloes.
great.
Yeah. He's still around. We might see him soon.
The only other lineup news of note is that Corey Perry's back into the top 6 with Adam Henrique and Zachary Martin Hyman. Corey Perry up to 16 goals now on the season. And I believe in him through and through. I could say, were you guys kind of the same as me? We got to go quick here, but I really hated that signing for the amount of money that it was. I think I had a bad taste in my mouth left over from the playoffs when he was getting healthy scratched, when he had no boots, when he couldn't move. Hand up accountability could not have been more dead wrong about Corey Perry.
Oh, no,
this year.
I was very, very happy. The more Corey Perry, the better. Every time I see his goal total, I'm surprised by it because I'm like, I watch every Oilers game. He scores every 3 games. He scores, he's scored more goals than 16. Somewhere the numbers have been fudged here.
Everywhere he's played, he's found a way to be a useful player. And that's like the respect that I have for Corey Perry. Regardless of the role that it is, he'll find a way to be a useful player, whether it's in the top 6, whether it's in the bottom 6. Like he went from Chicago, and this is an easy part to forget given what happened in Chicago. When he was in Chicago playing on the top line, he was, I think, their leading scorer. Like he was tearing it up for like the first month and change in Chicago. And obviously what happened. When he signed with the Oilers, I was like, that's a good ad. He brings an element that the Oilers needed, still brings an element that the Oilers desperately need. And as we saw last night, when Corey Perry doesn't bring it, a lot of other players don't, and they miss it. And that's why Corey Perry was pissed at himself last night. It's why I brought my Corey Perry Oilers jersey to this trip. Gonna wear it on Saturday in that building. Like, I have so much respect for Corey Perry and what he brings to the Oilers and what he's brought to every team that he's played for over the course of his career.
I'd love to see a Corey Perry scrap later on in this hockey game. At the quotes after the game yesterday, was none too pleased with himself specifically for not defending Stuart Skinner.
I would actually not like I would like to see it, but I would also not like to see it. Because to me, if Corey Perry fights, that shows that the message was not received to the locker room.
You want someone else to fight and say,
okay.
we got
Oh,
you.
true.
I can get down with that.
Because he stepped up all year. And I think to a point, and I can't remember what game this was. He fought, right? It might have been Florida. He fought AJ Greer.
Yeah.
And it's okay, like, great, Corey Perry did it again. But how much more would that have meant if Todd Colson had done it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Paul Colson fight early in the season was it Lozon?
Yeah,
He punched
Lozon.
a hole right in Lozon's forehead.
And then held him up as he was about to hit the
Yeah.
ice. Gentlemen,
You laid
through
down,
and
young
through.
man.
Let's go quickly here. Starting goaltender report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, home of the $50 bi-weekly ATV, or be on a boat this summer for as low as $105 bi-weekly. It's picks. It's Joey Decord going at it. You guys had Joey Decord on your show, correct?
Yes.
Confirmed beauty?
A lovely gentleman.
Is he
Wonderful.
sneaky jacked?
Oh,
no,
not sneaky.
not even
We
sneaky.
Not
talked
even
about
sneaky.
his body a lot.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's the absolute
He's
best.
ripped.
You mentioned Calvin Pickard. Since Tuukka Rask, he is the most saves by a goalie ever.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I also heard he's never allowed a goal against.
He's never allowed.
Rumors are going flying.
Never allowed a goal.
People are saying things.
This is just
Yeah, he's a
the
little
birds
like
are talking.
finicky.
Call
in
him the
position.
immaculate
But-
goaltender.
Yeah, but he's got that Gretzky-in record where it's kind of crazy when you hear it, but he's
Yeah.
never allowed
Just
a
don't
goal.
look that up. Just don't look that up. Finally,
No
I'm
need.
going to let you guys go in a couple minutes to get on the mic. But let's go in. Bordzy's bankroll. I got 3 picks for you, but I also think we could make up a quick little squad ride here, courtesy of our friends from Bet365.
Squad ride.
Breaking news from Bet365. Where every nail-biting overtime winner is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, you can bet it's never ordinary. They're an official partner of the NHL. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Bert, if you got the bankroll for me, throw it up, because these are my 3 options. I always give 3 every game. I bet them individually, and then I parlay them as well. So the top one, Bouchard, a shot prop, 3 shots on goal for plus 105. Jeffrey Scotty Skinner for 3 shots on goal plus 125. That has now actually gone down considerably. I did this earlier this morning and locked it in. And then a Bouch power play point. The Oilers have back-to-back games with 2 power play goals. Bouchard has power play points in both of them, and on the last game against the Seattle Kraken, he registered a power play point. Pete, start with you. You look at these 3 bets. Which one do you like the most?
I love all of them, but I
Yes.
mean, if I'm gonna take Jeff Skinner scoring 2 goals, I'm gonna take over 2.5 shots.
Bang. DJ, what about you?
Yeah, I mean love that as well. I would go with the Skinner one. I would maybe bump it up to Jeff Skinner over 1.5 goals, but that's just me. How about I like Bush 1 power play point.
I like that you like all of those. So,
They
gentlemen,
are, I mean,
they're all good.
Oilers to do things, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
they're
Yeah,
also
that guy
all
rocks.
they're also all pluses as well. So we are chasing the juice. The juice. It's our night here at Greta. Do you want to craft up a little 4-leg
Let's
or
do it.
5-leg
Everyone pick a
parlay?
leg.
Everybody pick a leg.
I'm mostly invested in Jay's like 18-leg parlay.
Yes,
to
right. So
get-
we're gonna
Yeah.
be doing
yes,
stuff like that.
I
Yes.
brought the whiteboard. Well,
So Jeff
Well-
Skinner to score, and then Jeff Skinner to score again.
Many
Okay.
Jeff Skinner goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liam, what about you? You want to give a pick?
Yeah, I'll do Bouchard point.
Bush point. I'm going to go Hyman 4+ shots on goal. He's been ripping pucks recently.
He has been ripping.
We're already
them.
at
Pretty
10-1.
cowardly of Liam not to bank
Yeah, I'm
on
at
a picks shutout.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
Yeah, Liam.
Finish what he
I should
started.
do
Yeah.
his
So are you
saves.
both going to go Jeff Skinner goal?
So
Or-
Yes.
why don't you do
You
it
wanna
for
get another
each of
one?
us? Can you do 2 Jeff Skinner goals?
I can.
We just get 2 Jeff
I
Skinner
can.
goals?
Yes.
Give
That-
me,
that's
give me a
gonna-
Jeff Skinner goal.
That's gonna
Biggest
have
one you
plus
got.
odds. That's gonna get you plus odds.
That will be plus for sure.
So there, if we add that in.
What's
so
your leg, Aaron?
I'm-
You like it took it plus
For me,
300.
I'm going to do Jeff Skinner 3 shots.
Okay, I like that. So plug all those in together, 75-1. You got to throw a little on that.
Let's
Yeah.
ride.
I've spent $10 on worse things.
All right, boys.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I can let you roll out in a couple minutes here as I know you got to get ready. You're hosting the event.
Yes,
We are.
You're doing my job for
We're
once.
ready to
So
do
I'm
it.
just going to hang out and drink beers all night. I'm very excited for
I'm gonna
that.
be yelling to you for lines
I
and not
gotcha.
the Pete kind.
Who-
Like
Whoa,
the whole
crazy.
time.
I mean, the only lines that I do are thin
Pete
blue
does
ones.
not do it right. If you don't watch
Oh,
What
that's
Chaos,
fantastic.
we have a fun bit
Oh.
where we just constantly tell Pete that he's a bad person and is racist, even though he's neither of those things.
What was the one today? Oilers signed Josh Prokop.
Oh yeah, Pete's like, oh yeah, Pete likes
Yeah,
that.
I'm pro cop.
Final one I got for you. Score prediction, anytime goal scorer. I know it's going to be Jeff Skinner.
6-2 Oilers.
Woo! DJ,
Yes.
what about you?
Pete was just asked for a score prediction before we came on, and what did you say?
6-2
Oh, you did
Oilers.
so. I was like, I thought you. Oh, Sean went with a measured one.
Yeah.
I went 4-2 Oilers with a couple from Jeff Skinner. Keep an eye out for that.
I told Waz 6-3 Oilers, and I'll say Jake Wallman scores first.
Oh, love that.
Ooh. Yeah, it didn't work for me on the
I
yesterday.
know. I know.
Guy's been red hot first goal scorer. Liam, what about you?
Wow, Calvin Pickett's in goal. So 3-0, obviously.
Yes.
Pickett point.
Oh,
Another breakaway.
I mean,
pass.
when he went full Kachekov in that overtime,
That's
it was the
special.
greatest.
Yeah.
Just give me the rock. This is my game. This is my team. Fine, I'll dump it off to you, 97, whoever you are.
The
You
cla-
take it from here because of the rules where I can't go up
The
there.
classic, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Yes.
If you're not going
Yeah.
to get it done for me, I'll get it done. All right. We're going to close it out here a little bit earlier because we've got one hell of an evening for us here at Greta Bar Yeg. Once again, shout out to them for putting on this awesome event. Going to be an awesome evening. You guys got merch to give away, I do believe. Also,
Yes,
can we show
exclusive.
these off?
Yes.
How can people that are watching at home buy these bad boys?
You
This
can't.
is not for sale.
Ah,
You can buy
never
the
mind.
black ones. So the black ones are the normal ones
Okay.
that are made from the Just Dishin Boys. Dishin Boys found out that we were headed up here, knows that I'm an oil man, knows that we love Edmonton, and made Oilers
so
colored
sick.
Edmonton edition What Chaos hats. This
No,
thing
That's incredible,
is
dude.
so yeah, there's very few of them. There are 5 on this earth, and we are giving
Wow.
away, I believe, like 3 of them.
3, yeah, because I'm giving away mine. Like
a guy.
I believe me and Sean are giving away ours. So
They don't like them.
if you're here, could get lucky tonight.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
That's right.
That is good to know.
hell
You
yeah.
said you spent $10 on worse.
Yeah.
Here's worse, baby.
And on that note, that'll do it for us. Pregaming with Bordzy, pregaming with What Chaos. Once again, follow them on all their socials. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. They are fantastic. These boys make me laugh more than anything. And I hope we get to see you back in Edmonton during the NHL playoffs. Hopefully, the Stanley Cup Finals again. I appreciate you boys, Tyler and Liam, as well. Liam's making faces off camera
I'm just
as
so
well.
excited for the game. I can't wait to watch. Calvin Pickard play
So the
with John Klingberg
just
in
mainly
front of him, blocking shots. Troy Stetcher
the
flying
Oilers-
down the wing.
the Oilers just tweeted a video and said, "Come on, Picks." And do you read that as like a "Come on, Picks," or do you go like, "Oh God, come
Oh,
on,
come
Picks.
on,
Come on, Picks.
Come on, Picks."
Yeah,
All
this
right,
will be an exciting game.
On that note, we love you all. Throw it on your courtesy like on the way out. We'll be live right here on the ON YouTube channel right after the game. Good luck on the Bet365 Battlegrounds. We will chat, hopefully, about an Oilers W. Talk later.